Acton in Focus is brought to you by Enterprise Bank.
Welcome to Acton in Focus. I'm Vivian Kopsinger-Birchall, your host, and my special guest is Marianne Fleckner, the Director of Administration and Finance for the town of Acton. Welcome to the show, Marianne.
Thank you very much.
I'm so excited to finally host you. This is exciting. It's not often that we get to talk to someone who is in charge of administration and human resources and budgeting. But before we get into that, could you tell us about who you are, how long you've worked with the town, and what exactly that you do?
Sure. My goodness. Okay. And being that we just had our budget hearings, we have a little bit of the history in our brains, just recent. I work for the town of Acton, and I've been with the town of Acton going on 17 years. I can't believe time has flown by. It has been so much fun. And before I came to the town, I worked for the Commonwealth, and I worked for various state agencies on mergers and other special projects. And I worked for the Commonwealth for about 21 years. So reason why I say that, a total of about 38, 39 years in administration and finance. So with the Commonwealth, my title was more like Deputy Commissioner of Administration and Finance, and here in the town, Director of Administration and Finance. And what it encompasses usually is human resources, finance, other administrative functions of whatever the company or the agency, in this case the municipality, is responsible for. And so I just love it, and it's something that, adjective that some people don't think of when you think of administration and finance is like, folks in it is like, it's a lot of fun.
Right. And it's, first of all, you have quite an impressive span of experience, both at the state level, town level, and like you rightly said, when people talk about finance, it's a headache for some of us. So if you just taking a little bit of that pie, what exactly do you do with the finance department? What does that compose of? And we'll take it up from there.
Okay, great question. And so within the town of Acton, so our finance department has our accounting office. So our accounting office is where all the bills come in, the bills are paid, also money that we have to ensure that we are accounting for. And so it's like a traditional accounting office that one would think of in any company. And so that's our accounting office. And then the other part is the treasurer's office, the treasurer collector. So Teresa O'Leary is our treasurer collector, and she's responsible for the treasury. So banks, bank accounts, the receivables of money, and also the collection of money. And so most of it is taxes. I know that's something that folks say, oh, me too, right?
Yeah.
Is that we pay our taxes. And so that's where the collection comes in. It could be your motor vehicle excise tax. It could be your personal property, your real estate tax. So whatever that tax is due, and that's that department. And so then you kind of jump over to the assessor's office. Let me just back up 1 second though. Kristen Cowett is our acting town accountant. So then going over to the assessor's office again, our principal assessor is CJ Carroll. And so the assessor's office is the folks that actually go out and assess the property, the valuation of that property. So then the tax rate can be certified, can be decided upon. And that happens like around the November time frame, and a tax certification goes in front of the select board. And right now that tax rate is $17.15 per thousand. And then you jump over to another department of the whole finance wing. We call it the finance wing. And we have the town clerk's office. And that's led up by Leo Mercado. The town clerk's office is responsible for the voting, the elections, other things as dog licenses. And so one wouldn't think that, but you have to make sure that your dog has a license if you live in Acton. And by the way, I'll just put a little plug in for that. So the dog licenses went out a few weeks ago, and they are due on February 28th. So if you haven't paid for your dog license yet, just make sure that you do that. Either it's $17 or $22. You don't want to have to pay a late fee. The late fee is $25. So don't try to get there. So the dog licenses, as an example. So that's another part of our finance office. They're really busy when it comes to town meeting, special town meetings, obviously the elections. As you probably know, many people watching, the residents of Acton, amazing, always so engaged. And they came out in droves. We had we believe in recent history that we're aware of, one of the largest town meetings last year. And there's so much effort that's put into that behind the scenes. And then we move over to our actual kind of like budget finance office piece of it, like the budgeting part. And it is a piece where the budget is created, managed, and with the support of all the other divisions. And so Ellie Anderson is our budget manager, and so that's a division within within the finance office. And that's us in a nutshell. It kind of gives like a really high overview, but there's so much more detail that happens every single day. It's pretty amazing to actually see it in the operation.
Well, first of all, that is a huge responsibility to be in charge of all of that. But there are a few things that I want to pick up from what you mentioned. I'll start with the property assessments. So I have been following social media about, arguments about what's going on in the town and people's property. And I have seen resistance from members of the community who are advocating to shut out assessors who come for the town. What would you want to say to our community in ways that, what can they do to help support that effort for the town?
Sure, right. To your point is that we visit the homes so that we can ensure that the home, that neighborhood, the community is assessed properly, so that we can make sure that we then set a correct tax rate, and it all ties in together. It's not just specific to the tax rate, but we want to make sure that, is your home assessed properly? And if not, and people are concerned about that, that's absolutely fine, meaning that we want to hear back. Because if a resident is concerned, they come to us and they can file and they can have their case heard. And we have a board of assessors for that reason. And also is that there are abatements, there are exemptions through that process. But the importance of it is to ensure that you care about your home and you put a lot of effort to keep your home up. And also is that if you're ever in the position where you want to sell your home, if you own your home, is that will you get also the right amount for it? So it's like full circle, but completely understand that when you do get that tax bill, and oftentimes you say to yourself, wow, it's an amount that is just, sometimes challenging and difficult to say that, okay, this is going to be my tax bill, and most likely it's going to increase as the years go by. But it's a value that you own if you're a property owner.
Right.
You own that.
Right.
So I can completely understand as a taxpayer as well.
Yeah.
And then, oh, here comes the tax bill.
And then maybe just a quick follow-up to that. For people who don't know what to look out for a town assessor, just to avoid, strangers being in their home, what should they be? What should they look out for somebody who approaches them?
Yes, absolutely. So we introduce ourselves. We have the Town of Acton seal. Is that sometimes, often, we're in a town car where we'll have the seal on the car. We have credentials that we can show someone. We have a ID, we have a picture ID. And also, if anyone ever feels like that, wait a minute, I'm not comfortable, I'm not sure you are saying who you are, then that's okay. Is that you can say, I'm not comfortable you coming into my home. I want to first call the town of Acton. I want to call the assessor's office, and I want to make sure that you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We would prefer that, because you do never know, like if there was someone out there who was trying to say they were someone and they weren't.
Right.
We totally respect that.
Right.
And sometimes that happens. And they'll call and we'll confirm.
No, thank you so much for that guidance. And then now let's go back to the budget. Again, just listening to that chatter on social media,
Yeah.
people have been frustrated about the increasingly high town budget. Could you just give us some insight into some of the factors that have contributed to that? And it's just for the benefit of knowledge and awareness.
Sure. So the budget process actually is a long process, meaning time-wise. It might last 6, 7, 8, 9 months to get us to that May town meeting. In that process, that we work very closely with, well, the select board are our bosses, and very closely with the finance committee and residents. And those residents, the voters, and the voters tell us is that we want you to make sure that there is, for example, a transportation program. There is a sustainability division, because we believe and we want to have net zero emissions by 2030. Whatever that subject is, we want to make sure that you work on this project. That the big project over the past few years has been Kelly's Corner, for example. Whatever that is that we actually take direction from the residents, from the voters, and build a budget from there. And it is challenging, like you said, is that, okay, the budget is going up, and we have to live within Proposition 2.5. And as many of us know, is that last year there was an override, and it was a $6.5 million override. And we were able to keep 1.2 of that into a tax levy, like a reserve. And even passing that, which was very, very, very close, by a very thin margin, is that we still account for and are responsible to the residents and the community and the voters of Acton and how we spend every single penny. So we want to hear and take direction from the community. And like going back to, for example, the transportation program, we hear that that is extremely important, that in order to have a strong economy and businesses and a livable community, is that can someone get from point A to point B? Because public transportation gets more challenging as you go outside of the city environment.
Yes, it does.
And so with that is that how do we then create a budget and a sustainable budget? And that's important to us because that's what we're hearing from the community. So most of everything that we do, if not everything that we do, is because the town of Acton, the community, the residents, they're telling us this is what we want. And it is hard because all of us see costs going up. If it's construction, whatever that it is that construction goes up. And so a cost of a capital program increases. And it is hard to swallow. It is hard to see these costs go up. But hopefully we're doing the right job. And if it is a $39 million or $40 million operating budget, that anyone can come to us and say, how is all that money being spent and why? We totally hear you and respect that a big part of the budget is FTEs, full-time equivalencies, salaries, are the employees. I'm an employee, and our town manager, John Mangiarotti, takes that very seriously, and that always, how can we have a position in the best, most efficient, creative way? Just because it was this title before and just because it was filled, can it be filled differently? Can we do our jobs differently? And it all is part of the process and savings, hopefully.
Which is a great transition into the human resources.
Okay.
The fun part. Well, budgeting is also fun for those who love
finance
numbers,
is
right?
fun.
And I'll get back to you on that about, the most fulfilling part of your work. But let's first go to the HR, since you've kind of easily transitioned us there. What exactly do you in human resources, or what has been your experience in human resources with the town of Acton? What are some of the best moments, and what are the opportunities? All in one.
Oh, Vivian, this is awesome, because you asked the question like the best moments, and there are so many best moments over these 17 years. But what comes to mind immediately is when I first started, and I came from the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth is a little bit more bureaucratic because there's just more layers. But what I was able to do at the Commonwealth was create these committees. And so speaking with the town manager at the time, is that we had created an employee recognition committee, something you're probably familiar with when you were there. And the employee recognition committee is something we're just so proud of, because it is something that can be so cost effective and get a lot of mileage out of it, that it is so worth it. So the Employee Recognition Committee, we hold 3 events per year. And one of them is the STAR Recognition Program. And STAR stands for Service to the Town of Acton Recognition Program. And we have an event for employees who have reached their 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 year milestone. And they invite their family, and their colleagues come. And it's so nice to see that this employee has brought so much knowledge and passion and care to their job, to the community over these, again, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So that's something we're super proud of. Another one is that we hold a holiday event, and the third one is a professional development day. Professional development day is at our own Nara Park. And it's a day where we do a lot of interaction with each other, where you normally don't. Where if I'm a police officer, I may not have too much interaction on a regular basis with the librarian. We have a guest speaker, and the chair of the select board speaks about the short and long-term goals, and John Mangiarotti speaks. And we have breakout sessions. The other thing that we have that we created over these years that I'm super proud of is the WIN Committee. And something else you're probably remembering is the WIN Committee is the Wellness Initiative Network Committee. And over these 17 years, we have brought in guest speakers, whether it is your physical health, your mental health, financial help. And we've been able to do this on such a very, very small, limited budget. These speakers, 99% of the time, will come and speak for free. And we'll have lunch and learns. And when people leave, and we do exit interviews, and we ask them, what could we do better? What have we done well? And the majority will say is that, I came from another community or came from another company. And what the town does for us to keep our morale up, the wellness and the ERC, those committees, that's something I'm really super proud of, and cannot do it without the committee members.
Right.
Because the employees volunteer on these committees. And it's always, always a team effort. It really is. You can't do anything alone.
Right.
And I'm super proud and super humbled by that. Human resources, we do compensation, classification, benefits. We manage all benefits. Hiring. Maybe that's something that I could chat about. 'Cause
Yes.
we're looking for a number of awesome folks who want to join our team. Speaking of team,
That's what we like to hear.
I really am. I'm saying this because I believe it. Is that it is an awesome place to work. The benefits are phenomenal. The public pension system is the best. We are very competitive with our health insurance. We have always asked our employees, what are you looking for in benefits? Oh, I'm looking for hospitalization coverage, cancer coverage, dental, vision, pet insurance. That's important to people, and we offer that. So, positions that we have open,
Yes,
right
please.
now we have EMTB, which is Emergency Medical Technician Basic, so firefighter, so someone who is looking to be a firefighter, EMTB, many times is that we'll recruit from ambulance companies, but also people who have shown interest in the firefighting world and also have either attended or interested in going to the firefighting academy. So a firefighter, EMTB. We're also looking for a firefighter paramedic. So that is another level of well, this one is a paramedic, but another level up from an EMTB basic.
Right.
And so we are recruiting for firefighter paramedics.
Yeah, just a quick question for the
Yes.
two positions. Is there an age limit? Because there are certain requirements for that kind of work.
For both public safety, so for fire and police, the age limit is age 65.
Okay.
And so unless you get special dispensation to work beyond age 65.
Okay.
But other than that, not like 35 or 30 or anything like that.
Okay.
And speaking of that, we're also recruiting for police officers. Speaking of the public safety realm, and our police and fire, every single department, every single division, every single employee, public safety is just a field where you see the care and the compassion and the commitment that folks have, that in your time of need, when you call 911 and they show up, it may be like they say, your worst day of your life. And having the folks who we have to show up and help you is paramount to who we are. And also is that we just recently posted a Director of Innovation and Technology. And so it's, the acronym Director of IT, but Director of Innovation and Technology. So this person will be responsible for our information technology. And a big part of that, because that world is constantly changing.
It is.
We are hearing so much about AI right now,
Yes.
right? And so that's why the innovation piece of it is tied to the technology piece. That is going to be a great, exciting, dynamic job, and that is posted right now.
Right.
And so it's a fully benefited position here in Acton Town Hall, phenomenal benefits. I think it's posted between $130,000 to $160,000 per year.
Right. And then maybe just a quick clarification for that position, and I saw it up. Are you looking for some, because when you talk about IT or technology, there is where people just manage the network within the organization. And what I'm hearing is you're looking at also somebody who is innovative or supports the innovation with technology. So where is the heaviness? What are you most interested in that person?
Oh, yeah, sure. So definitely someone who has the work experience, no matter what, because it is a director position.
Right.
And with that is that has that person in their current or former job been involved with bringing new technologies, and whether that is on social media or what is happening right now with the, say, the piece of social media where what is being allowed, what's not being allowed, being on top of those conversations.
Right.
And again, back to artificial intelligence, is that it is changes every single day. And
Every minute.
every minute, you're right. And you have to have your hand on the pulse. So we're looking for someone who is either has that and willing to be out there and stay on top of whatever is happening, not just like local or state, but really like national, global as well. That's not one job where you can keep your blinders on.
Right.
And because we want to make sure that if you go to our website and have you been able to like click on and find the things that you want to find easily, and if not, we want to hear that. How can we update it so we get information out to the people who want it, to the community? Also, in municipalities, your information technology department gets involved with, for example, our North Acton Fire Station. It is heated and air conditioned by geothermal. Geothermal is automated. And so many municipalities, the information technology department is very closely tied to facilities and operations because there's so much automation now with our facilities. And our public safety departments, radio communication, that's extremely important for our police and fire.
Right.
When you go to town meeting and someone gives you the clicker,
Click.
right, to vote,
Yes, no.
that's information technology.
Yeah. No, this is great. And for those who are interested in those positions, this is some cheat sheet because, well, the HR is giving you an insight into what they're looking for. So I hope people pay attention to this.
And you can apply at jobs@actonma.gov.
There we go. Is there anything about your work that we haven't yet talked about that you would like to tell us or tell our viewers?
I would. That's a great question. And what immediately comes to mind, and hopefully this is something that I can say that eventually when I look back, maybe years from now, that I was most proud of, is that I think it's so important to be accessible and to have an open door. And that even if it's not something that you are directly responsible for, but if I see someone in the hallway, if you see a visitor, if you pick up the phone and it's not your bailiwick, is that instead of me just transferring you, what are you looking for? Because maybe I can help you, or I want to make sure that I bring you to the person that can answer your question. Is that and so our town manager, John Mangiarotti, instills this in us, is our customer service.
Yeah.
He created a hotline where Kristen Alexander, who manages that hotline, is that anyone can call that hotline and you will get a live person. You won't get automation where press 1, press 2, press 3, press 5. Would you like this repeated? You get a person and they're going to help answer your question or find it for you. And I think for me is that that's something that is extremely important. You come to town hall, Vivian, right? I'm either on the second floor or the first floor, wherever I am, whether it's finance or HR. But hopefully you can come and you can be 2 feet away from me like we are right now. And I can say, hi, how can I help you? What are you here for? Let me bring you there. Let me call. And I think that's something that all of us do, but it's so quietly done, hopefully, meaning quietly that we just do it, and that people feel welcome, and they can come to any of our facilities and be helped. And so that's something that I think happens every single day, happens every minute of the day, and it's for me, it's a big part of who I am and part of the job, part of my responsibility.
Right.
Director of Administration and Finance, because those are the things that happen behind the scenes that may not be out there visually,
Right.
but it's so important to people.
Right. And then I guess as we wrap this up, I'll just ask, you do an amazing job with the town with all the huge responsibility you're carrying. So in what ways, and Acton TV has been supportive in any way that we can, but are there ways that we can support you even better in the work that you or the town does?
Oh my goodness. Like, wow, this is an opportunity, right? To say, oh, Vivian, your next speaker can be. But I think that is we are great partners, and you are always there when we need a meeting televised or live, and having it on YouTube. I think that just continuing with that, and maybe we can come and we can talk more about job openings, because we want to get that message out.
Right.
Because we want to make sure that people know about these opportunities. So maybe that's like the next place we could visit.
Yeah.
Was I just mentioned like 3 jobs, but we can talk more about those. Or also, is that from the finance angle, in the town clerk, when town meeting is coming up, or when, again, I made it kind of funny, but it's important, like, hey, does your dog have that dog license? And so that's something that we could probably work with you on and have more of these shows.
Absolutely. No, it's been fantastic to have you here to share the work that you do, to give us some insight into those very critical departments. Both finance and HR are the core of operations in the town. So thank you for taking the time to come speak with us. It's been such an honor. And to our viewers, I hope that you have learned about what goes on behind the scenes. There is more, but in the interest of time, that's what she could share. And I hope that if you have any questions, you'll feel empowered to go to the office, the Town of Acton at 472 Main Street, and get the answers that you need, or visit the website at actonma.gov. But for now, thank you again.
Thank
for
you.
Being
Thank
here.
you.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Till next time.